Hi, I'm Sean Gibson from Tech Britain. We're down at CultureTECH in Derry today. Very happy to be joined by Catherine Morris and Breda Doherty from Hubbit, co-founders, I should say. So, yeah, thank you for coming down, guys. If you'd like to first explain about the story of how you got together, I thought it was really interesting.
No problem. Well, myself and Breda were introduced via Twitter last February, as two girls heading over to South by Southwest, and we should get to know each other. We met over there and got on really, really well. We went out for a few drinks and we were chatting to some of the guys from Seedups, and they were running a competition, and we thought, let's come up with an idea and see if we can break the competition. And as it kind of increased and stuff with our thoughts, we decided actually Hubbit could be a really good idea, with a few name changes in between, but we've now got to Hubbit.
But in terms of how we actually met, the reason we kind of were looking for other females, especially that were going to South by Southwest, we liked the fact that there was hardly any females going, especially any from Northern Ireland. So we both wanted to make sure there was other people for us to meet up with, as we were both going out there basically by ourselves. And Twitter allowed us to kind of make that connection, which is why now with Hubbit, it helps you plan your attendance, but it also allows you to network as well with other people going to events, which we got that idea from us having met on a social network. We wanted to incorporate that, but make it so much more as well, make it a central hub, hence the name, where it's not just about it's about planning, it's about connecting with people, and most interestingly and most importantly, it's about reviewing your event experience and sharing with other people the events you've been to, the ones that you think are best, the ones that you think could be improved, and I suppose having a bit more influence and coming together with other passionate event goers.
Terrific. And so the idea came about from being together over at South by Southwest. So what's the journey that you've been on since first coming together then? How have you got to where we are today, which is your launch party tonight, which we're really excited about. So what is that journey that you've taken?
Well, Catherine mentioned we entered the seed competition in June 2011, and that from that we were runners-up in that, and that kind of gave us the motivation to put the idea we came up with at South by Southwest, flesh it out, do some market research, kind of develop something that was quite unique, and do an initial pitch around it, and we got kind of motivation from that actually there is something in the idea, and that gave us the kind of scope to keep going with it, keep working at it, and give us a small amount of funding to build our landing page, see what interest there was. And ever since then we've just been kind of applying for funding, constantly refining what Hubbit is, and we did have to change some things as well. Like originally we were aiming Hubbit at kind of large scale festivals and conferences like South by Southwest, which can be quite overwhelming to attend, especially for the first time. But then ironically this year at South by Southwest,
we were asked to actually come over and pitch there through UKTI, which was really exciting for us as part of the only 20 companies from UK to come across to actually pitch, and it went down really well. But from talking to people, we realised that people like South by Southwest can already do the community side of it, and they have the money to push into that, and what we really want to do is go back to the events that we love going to, the independent festivals, independent conferences, and really help them to improve their events and build their community around that as well. And we've had such fantastic support from people like Digital Derry, who are co-organisers of CultureTECH, and we've been brilliantly supported by people like Colin Long from Facebook, who came along as part of the mentorship program with the Seed Comp last year. So it's all been fantastic, making the connections and being able to find out who can help us and who wants to be part of the system.
One thing I think it's important to highlight is that you're based in Glasgow, whereas you're still based in Derry. So how does that work?
Well, I think today it isn't that much of a challenge. Like, we Skype regularly, we text, we email, we use Google Docs a lot to kind of collaborate on things. So you can do it, and I think now it's something you have to be able to do. You need to be able to work remotely, and I think most companies now have at least some staff that are maybe in America or in England or whatever, and it's something I think we're both used to working. Sometimes it's definitely not easy. It can have its challenges, but I think if you remember that communication is the most important part of your company, especially whenever you are co-founders, you just kind of have to make it work and kind of check yourself if you realise maybe we haven't spoken in a day or something. Like, we need to kind of talk daily and constantly be aware of what the other one's working on, to make sure that things get done and that the most important things get done, because even things like funding applications and going back to the developers with new ideas and just suppose generally just discussing Hubbit and what we could do next is the most important thing, and kind of brainstorming.
And it prepares us for working with, as a global product, working with companies all over the world. So it means that we're dealing with it every day, and we know the issues that we can come up against, and overcoming those problems when it's between just us rather than with a big festival in America or Africa or wherever it might be.
Yeah, certainly. In terms of your individual backgrounds, I mean, do you come from a development background? What are your backgrounds?
I worked mainly in publishing and radio, and do a lot of music blogging, and work for an internet radio station and also for an online learning company called Learning Pool, who were a startup, and I've kind of worked with them for 4 years. So that's given me great grounding in terms of how a company kind of works from the bottom up, and even I suppose that's kind of opened my eyes in terms of kind of technology and a development background. But yeah, I don't have any development experience, but I know I suppose kind of how things should work, and especially from a user perspective, the way we've built Hubbit is from our own experience of using event websites that are really clunky. From a user perspective, they're quite frustrating. They're just covered in sponsorship. They don't have the information that you need. So although we don't have the ability to kind of write code and stuff, I think we've got a unique thing in being a user, but at the same time seeing things from an organiser's point of view as well, and then bringing in our own kind of unique ideas as well. And
I come from a mainly academic background. I studied the building of communities as part of my master's and my undergrad, and then I went on to help out with a company called Equal, which was the Lonely Girl 15 creators, and help them as being a UK ambassador, building the community from this side. So community's always been my passion. I do innovation vouchers and stuff like that there in Northern Ireland, so I work with an awful lot of tech companies, so we've been very lucky to have an awful lot of connections from our previous jobs and our continuing jobs, so that we can go out and find the help that we need, and we've been able to find a fantastic development team in Level Up who are based in Glasgow.
Right, okay. It sounds like a fantastic partnership you guys have got there in terms of your skill sets and how you complement one another. So
we enjoy it.
I definitely do, but I think even the type of events that we cover on Hubbit is to kind of take in the fact that I love music and
I'm all about the conferences and digital, so that's it means that we always have a balance within it, that although summertime might be massive to do with music and things like that there, we know that come around the time of the year that maybe on this side of the hemisphere there's not so much music festivals, although there is going on the other side, we can balance that out with other digital events.
And so the company's based in Derry. I mean, it really does seem like there's an incredible amount happening in Derry these days, with CultureTECH. What is your thoughts on Derry's tech community?
Well, I think, first of all, the Digital Derry has been massively supportive to us, and without that first chance, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be having a lunch party tonight. I think Derry's always been, I've born and bred in Derry, it's always been a place of talent and of creativity, and I think now it's coming around to that being quite digital focused. And there's so many other good startups happening, like CultureTECH and Troll Inc. as well. There's so many interesting things going on. I think it's the people of Derry are quite outward looking and have these ideas, and they also have the dedication to try and make it happen. And now with things like CultureTECH, the light's kind of finally being shone on Derry for the right reasons.
And it's a great brave community. They're willing to take that step forward and take the chance. And everybody can be so friendly here, and everybody's here to help each other. So I mean, it's the collaboration that's going on in Derry that's really the most exciting part of it all.
Because even tonight, Seedups and Sync and I have sponsored our launch party, and Seedups in particular have been really great to us from the beginning. And I think just the fact that everyone's willing to help each other out, like there's not really rivalry, everyone's just happy for another company and to see them doing well. I think we've just made such good friends as well, like with the guys and girls from these companies. Like, it's a fun time.
It's a fun time to be around Derry.
So what are the plans for the launch party?
Beers,
wine, pizza, and good music. So it's basically a chance for us to meet up with people that have joined the Hubbit community, who have heard of the Hubbit community, who maybe haven't heard of the Hubbit community, and have a really good evening chatting about technology and culture and music and having a good time, really. Fantastic.
Sounds like you got all the boxes ticked there, so be down there tonight.
Brilliant.
And just in terms of plans for the future, I mean, we touched on a few there, but is there anything else you'd like to share with us for Hubbit?
Yeah, well, I think for us, like, this is very much kind of, even though we've been working so hard the past year, this is kind of the beginning now of us really focusing on building the community. It's going to be a slow journey, but it's one that is going to take so much work, and we're kind of willing to put that in and just kind of make interaction by interaction to grow a dedicated community as well, and an active one. Like, we don't want a ghost town out there. We want people actually contributing good content and making Hubbit basically the TripAdvisor of festivals. And we have some really cool ideas now that we've got the basic site in place. Like, we've got some fun ideas around gaming and things that we'd like to incorporate into the site, and kind of testing advanced rating systems that we're kind of putting in place over the next few weeks, and getting event organisers in Canada have agreed to kind of test that for us and stuff with events that they've got coming up at the end of this month. So it's all go.
It's all getting out there, and we're working with some really exciting event organisers. So just check out Hubbit and find out exactly what we're doing next, and keep in contact with us, because we love being involved in the community ourselves.
And if I wanted to find out more about Hubbit, where would I go?
Hubb.it is actually the URL. I think some people are finding it quite confusing.
Is that HUBB or HUB?
HUBB.it.
Fantastic. So check them out, one of Derry's hot new startups, and it's just, from my perspective, great to see what you guys are doing, because you really are becoming like a poster child for others within Derry, you know, and showing that it can be done. That, you know, that you don't need to go anywhere else. That you can, you know, create this.
You put in the hard work,
yeah,
and you can make anything happen. So.
Fantastic. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And I look forward to the launch party later.
Thank you.
It's great to meet you both.
Nice to meet you.
Cheers. Thanks.